I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no given. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused on dangerous, they don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch out, get it here. Watch out, get it here. Watch out, get it here. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Best Bet for UFC Vegas 86. We got Joe Pyfer going against Jack Hermansson. And yeah, interesting card. We have 14 fights on this card. So as always, we're going to give 10 bets on 10 different fights. And these guys will each have 4 passes for this week. So we are here with Weezy, Propaholic, and Guru. We'll start with you, Weezy. Weezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to UFC Vegas 86?
Yeah, it's not the best name value card, but we always say, Brady, on Stat Diggers that the best cards are the ones where you stack cash tickets like flapjacks. You know, I mean, this could be my favorite card of the year if everything turns out, well, and all the bets cash. So we'll see how it all shakes out after it's all over. But I'm going to tread somewhat lightly this card. I know on this particular show today, a lot of my bets are a little more middle of the road. I'm not taking huge chances. Trying to just stay positive this week, move on to 298 next week, which is a much better card with much more trustable fighters, with bigger sample sizes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of untrustworthy fighters on this card. We have the most untrustworthy fighter of all time in Michael Johnson. And then we have Trevin Giles, who I'd say is probably number 2, right behind Michael Johnson. So it's one of those cards, it's a card that I wanted to kind of tread lightly. I ended up with more action than I wanted, but there are some spots that are sticking out this week. We got Propaholic in the building. What is up, Propaholic? Are you looking forward to UFC Vegas 86?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's another week with fights. I mean, we have another 10 more weeks I'm excited about. But yeah, I'm trying to get out of a slump myself. I mean, I'm on a 6-week losing streak. So hopefully this is the week that I break it. And hopefully it's a good card.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a 6-event losing streak back in 2021. It ends eventually. I know how you're feeling right now, but it is going to end eventually. Hopefully it ends this week. So rooting for you there. And last but not least, we got Guru. What is up, Guru? You looking forward to UFC Vegas 86?
Listen, live fights, possibility for action, I'm in. But, especially from a gambling perspective, this seems like a tough card to find, to slice that value. So we got to move carefully and get it done, which we're going to do.
Absolutely. Can't wait to break it down with you guys. Before we get started, if you guys can please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel. We go live every Saturday, 2 hours before the prelims kick off. Fights start at 4 today. And then I also did link down all 3 of these guys' channels, Weezy, Propaholic, and Guru. Go check them out. Subscribe to them. Also down in the description, you'll see the rules for Best Bet if you're new, and also the current standings as well. Do want to shout out the chat before we get started. We got Dixon Sider, first one in the building. What is up, Dixon? NFL action. I just have like a crazy Super Bowl parlay. That's about it for me. I'm trying to win a couple thousand off a $50 bet. We got Josh in the building. What is up? We got Sean V, number 1 brother Damar in the building. We got Christian Pablo 138, who is in first place. And see if these guys can cover some ground. It's going to be tough to catch you, man. It's going to take at least a couple of weeks, I think, to catch you after you hit something crazy. And I think it was Robertson KO the first week you were on. We got Forrest in the building, Justin in the building, Ace as well, Garrett, Rem Dog, Silky B, Jack. What is up, everybody? If you guys could smash that like button. Melon in here with the hot takes. We got Low. What is up, everybody? All right. I say we get into it. We have a lot to talk about, lots of fights on this card, and we're going to start with the first fight of the night. We have, I think, the second biggest favorite on the card right now, right behind Loma Lookboonmee. We got Daniel Marcos going against Arichi Long. We got Daniel Marcos opening at minus 160, currently minus 270. Arichi Long opened up plus 140, currently plus 230. So obviously Daniel Marcos, a very popular parlay piece. Big favorite here, Weezy. How are you attacking this first fight of the night?
Yeah, well, the first plan for this one was just to put pass. I wrote the fight, I put pass, and then I went and I looked at my prop template to see if anything was sticking out analytics-wise for over-under bets on this fight, and then I did find something. Whenever I find a nice plus money number that's a trifecta bet on my prop template, which means it's underpriced according to all three metric comparisons that the template does, it opens my eyes because I know I'm getting a very cheap bet at plus money, where if I'm not right, I will be around to keep making that bet, and over the long run, I will be plus EV on a spot like that. Plus 255 for the under 1.5 rounds in this fight. And look, this is a playoff of the way that Marcos fights and the way that Kaleng fights. I think these guys are going to get in the middle and throw big shots. I think it's going to be an all-action fight, a great way to start the card. But if I can get plus 255, which is a 28% implied probability. Over 31% of bantamweight fights finish under 1.5 rounds. 37.5% of their 8 combined UFC fights, 3 of 8, have finished under 1.5 rounds. Both these guys swing hammers. So I'm looking for a little bit violence here, plus 255 under 1.5 rounds.
All right, Weezy coming on hot with a plus 255 in the Marcos Arichi Long under 1.5. Propaholic, how are you attacking this first fight of the night?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Marcos round 3 decision. It's minus 125 on DraftKings. I just think he's going to be able to pick apart Arichi Long from the outside. I don't think Arichi Long checks any leg kicks at all. I feel like he's just going to get his lead leg obliterated. I think every time he closes the distance, Marcos is just going to be able to touch him up, stay on the outside. And I think he's going to be up 2 rounds. And I think there's a very possible chance that Marcos round 3 is very live here, just because of all the leg kicks and all the damage I think he's going to do to Arichi Long. I think Arichi Long's striking defense just isn't there. He has no high guard at all. He just gets hit. And when Marcos pushes the pace, and when he hits you, just like in the Contender Series fight he had, he gets on you and he pressures. So, yeah, give me that Marcos round 3 decision. It's a good way to cut the money line, which is at minus 270 right now. And I think that's how he wins this fight.
All right, Probaholic taking the Marcos round 3/decision. Guru, how are you attacking this fight?
I'm not. I'm actually passing this one.
But, any thoughts on it? Or
yeah, listen, I mean, I think it's a classic like bull and matador type fight, right? Marcos is going to want to move on the outskirts of the cage and stick and move, and Arichi Lang is just going to keep crashing forward. And it's just whether Marcos can keep him off him and maintain that damage. I think he ended up will because he's the faster fighter, but I expected Marcos to be a little bit bigger, and he kind of wasn't. So. Yeah. Not really my favorite minus 270 to go after, but I guess he's the pick, but I don't really feel good about it at all. Like, I mean, if he thinks he's out of range and he gets clipped, would any of you guys be surprised? Because I wouldn't.
Not the way that Kaleng swings.
Yeah, and Kaleng has a very cool blue hat he wears as well, which those hats are typically very, very good. So yeah, I mean, I'm not touching this fight either. The pick is obviously Marcos, but minus 270. What are you gonna do? Adam likes Archie Long a little bit more. Yeah, somebody else brought this up. Chinese New Year today for Arichi Long. Maybe that could be a factor there. While he's getting a KO on his New Year, we shall see. Marcos is an anchor for my parlays. Yeah, very popular parlay piece this week. This line has moved a ton. I remember he was sitting around minus 200. Took a long look at it, ended up passing, but minus 270 now. A little bit too wide for my liking. We got Waldo's in the chat, Blomdog in the chat, Elder saying Marcos will stay undefeated. Yeah, he should. I mean, I think he's much better than this guy. All right, moving on to the next fight. We got a newcomer in Hyder Emil going against Fernie Garcia coming in here on short notice, up a weight class. We got Hyder Emil opening up minus 255, currently minus 208. Fernie Garcia opening up plus 215, currently plus 178. Fernie Garcia 0-3 in the UFC. coming in here on shortest. Like I said, up a weight class. What was interesting at the face-offs is they're pretty similar in size for Fernie coming up a weight class here. I thought that was interesting, but we'll stick with you, Guru. What are you liking for this fight here?
I am passing.
There you go.
Yeah. This fight's super sketchy to me. Hyder Emil, he lives up to that hurricane nickname. He's going to keep marching forward. He runs at a high pace, but both of these guys have the same exact weakness, which is their grappling defense. And Fernie Garcia just got, run over in a, close fight with Brady Heistand, but then, gives him a even more difficult, better wrestler in Nakamura. We haven't even seen him really versus striker. So, I mean, the Journey Newsom fight's a very, very bad look, but first UFC fight, right? So we expected him to be a lot, smaller, and they're basically the same size like you just highlighted. So it's a pass for me, especially on short notice.
All right. 2 passes in a row for Guru. You have 2 left on the rest of the card. Propaholic, what are you taking for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm passing on this fight. I don't have a bet on this fight. But I mean, I think at dog odds, I don't think Fernie's a bad shot, but I think Emil has good pressure. But honestly, I think the best bet might be that fight doesn't go, maybe just because it's going to be very high action pack. I think both guys really slack striking defense, and they both lack grappling defense. So maybe there will be a finish in this fight, but yeah, I just don't see a bet for me on this fight at all here.
All right. 2 passes in a row. For what it's worth, I'm passing on this fight as well. Weezy, are you passing on this fight, or did you find something you like?
I mean, I have a tracked bet, and the bet is Hyder Emil to win in round 3 at plus 1,500. There's a lot of people that are on Fernie Garcia round 3 this week. I don't get it at all. Fernie Garcia's conditioning always has been terrible. And if you grapple him, it'll be even worse. I mean, drowned him in the 3rd round. Nakamura drowned him in the 3rd round. Fernie Garcia is not finishing anybody at the UFC level. And if he ever does finish anybody at this level, it's going to be in the 1st round with a sharp counterpunch while he's still got something in the tank. If this fight gets to round 3, Hyder Emil's volume, his pressure, the fact that he's on a full camp and Fernie isn't, I think it's going to be too much for him, but I'm passing on this fight. I mean, Emil's a debutant and he's minus 210 here. I just think it's too much to pay. And I kind of feel like you're overpaying for anything in this fight. I'd love to bet violence, but I know how durable Fernie Garcia is. So I'm just staying away from this one. And I've got, like I said, a small track bet at plus 1,500 for a quarter unit for Hyder Emil to win in round 3.
It looks like we're all passing on this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot to pay on a debuting newcomer in Hyder. I like the guy, but minus 210. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, this seems to be a very popular take. Fernie, round 3, Emil gasses. He gassed in his Contender Series fight, but I mean, that was just a nonstop wrestling pace where his opponent attempted 23 takedowns. That's not Fernie's game. Garcia might get his first win here. Gentlemen, we shall see. We shall see. We got Tom in the building. What is up, Tom? I stayed away from this fight also. Yeah, some of these prelims are like sketching me out, like really sketchy. Fernie, round 3, plus 2,000. Hyder is better everywhere than him. Emil couldn't finish Samez, probably by decision. Yeah, I'm leaning decision just due to the fact that both these guys are super tough. But we'll see if this fight does finish at round 3 one way or another. Weezy's on the Emil round 3. A lot of people on the Fernie round 3. We'll see if you guys can hit that. All right. Moving on to the next fight. We got Zach Pauga going against Bogdan Guskov. What a mess. We got Zach Pauga minus 135, opening up minus 160. We got Bogdan Guskov opening up plus 130, currently plus 115. So some money's came in on the underdog, and Guskov seems to be a pretty popular dog this week. We'll start with you, Propaholic. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, so I have a track bet on Guskov inside the distance at plus 148 for 1 unit, but the bet I'm going to give out on here is Guskov round 1 KO at plus 305. I just honestly think that the UFC is actually giving him this matchup here. Like, Pauga, all his fights have just been very underwhelming. He's going to try to come in and wrestle Guskov, but Guskov actually has pretty good takedown defense up against the fence. And I don't think people understand that Ozdemir is still a top 10 light heavyweight, and he hits very hard, and he has a lot of first-round KOs. And that was a huge step up for Guskov. Now he's facing a guy in Pauga who's 35 years old, got knocked out against Muhammad Usman on a little check left hook where Guskov literally explodes into his hook shots. And whenever Pauga's going to throw and close the distance, all he does is throw a bunch of lazy overhand rights. I think Guskov's going to hit him early. I think he's going to put pressure on him, and I think he's going to make it look very easy here, and I think he's going to get his first UFC win. So give me Guskov round 1 KO plus 305 on Bet Rivers.
All right, Guskov KO1 for Propaholic. Weezy, what are you liking on this fight here?
Yeah, I'm going the other way. I like Pauga here. I just think he's a much better fighter pretty much everywhere compared to Guskov because we've got a much higher level of competition for Pauga. He's a better athlete. He's definitely the better wrestler, and he's got the way better ground game. But if I was betting Guskov, I would do exactly what Propaholic just said to do and bet him by first round KO because that's how he wins his fights. But there's a big level of competition difference between these two guys. And the Ozdemir fight took place, and that was a very predictable outcome. And people were on Guskov there too, which made no sense to me because the guy, I mean, like he has no wins. There's not one win on this guy's record where you'd be like, holy shit, he beat that dude. Everybody that he's beaten is either like 3-2 or like 17-14, So I feel like if Pauga, who does have some chin issues, if he can get out of this first round, if he can have some success wrestling, wearing out Guskov, getting those arms to fill up with blood, that as this fight goes on, he'll look like a good favorite. And I was telling Brady this earlier in the week. It's the same thing with the Michael Johnson bet. I don't mind laying a little bit of juice if I'm getting the better fighter, especially when the argument is, well, what if your guy gets bonked in the first? Ladies and gentlemen, this is MMA. Anybody can get bonked in the first. Bet on the fighters that have the better cardio, the better experience, and who have fought the better guys. And over the long run, you're going to have some times where your guy is dead on the canvas and you're like, oh, that went tits up. But most of the time over the long run, I think you're going to come out ahead. So I'm going with the Pauga money line.
All right, Pauga money line minus 135, I believe. Minus 130, I see. All right, Guru, what are you liking for this mess of a fight?
What an interesting fight. I actually ended up on Pauga with Uncle Weezy. I feel the same exact way. I feel that Pauga is going to press him up against the cage. And, I feel like that Muhammad Usman KO is kind of like overplayed. Yeah, he gets wobbled versus Modestas, but Modestas also smacks in round 1. So it's heavyweight, right? They always crack. So I just feel like, when you watch the tape on Guskov, right? The dude is, I don't know. I don't know where people are seeing it. I mean, it's fraudulent. The guy fights Carlos Eduardo. Dude is 42 years old. And in that 25-second fight, he throws the slowest right hand you'll ever see. The dude ducks under it, gets a single leg. He shucks his leg out. And as he's getting up, he knocks the guy out. I mean, like, it's terrible. He's going to give up takedowns if Pauga goes for it. He's going to give up clinch time. I think if Guskov gets it, it's round 1 KO. But yeah. I like Pauga, so I am on Pauga. I'm curious since I haven't been here before. If DraftKings offers me a same game parlay, is that admissible or no?
If you want, yeah, you can do that.
So I want Zach. I'm a slut for plus money, if you know me. So I need Zach Pauga money line and over 2.5 minutes. That's it. I'm not going the full round. I'm not doing a round and a half. I don't trust it. Zach Pauga in over 2.5 minutes gives me plus 110. Because honestly, if the fight ends before that, I think Guskov knocked him. So It is what it is.
All right. Yeah, that's probably a good way to get Pauga down to plus money. How is Pauga the favorite? I think Weezy brought up a lot of reasons he is the favorite there. Let's see here. Guskov is a complete fraud. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way as well. I don't like Pauga at all either, though. So I'm definitely not touching this fight. Pauga round 3 sub. I don't even know if this fight makes it to round 3, to be honest. Like, yeah, Guskov has a puncher's chance for 3 minutes. Then he will start gassing. Yep, true. Paul saying Pauga is not the better fighter. Paul, I'm picking Guskov to win. But I think Pauga's he has more ways to win. He's a lot better. But, Guskov does have that KO1 upside. Pauga is awful. I mean, I kind of think so. But I think both these guys are not that great. I don't know. Half of this roster I'm staying away today. Let's see. Why on earth would you parlay that to get plus 110? That's insane. I mean, because Pauga's not finishing anybody in the first 2.5 minutes, right? I mean, he took Jordan Wright to decision. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Moving on to the next fight. I think this is probably like one of the highest level fights on the card, and it's buried on the prelims of a low level card. It's Jeremiah Wells going against Max Griffin. We have Jeremiah Wells opening up minus 175. He's currently minus 150. Max Griffin opened up plus 150. He's currently plus 130. So some money initially came in on Max Griffin a couple days ago. The lines kind of stayed the same the last several days. We'll start with you, Propaholic. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yes, so I have a track bet on the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 127, but the best line I think you can get is minus 136 on Bet Rivers now. I just really think that someone's going to get boxed in this fight. I just think Jeremiah Wells is very live to knock out Griffin, as Griffin's very live to knock out Wells. Griffin throws straight down the pipe as Wells just overextends on everything and throws everything in hooks. He's very explosive. He's definitely going to put himself into Griffin's power early. So I could see a finish very early. And I could even see Wells subbing him late in round 2 and round 3. You know, Magny really doesn't have better wrestling than Wells, nor does he, I don't think, has better grappling than Wells. And he was just able to get him down and have his back in round 2. And Magny doesn't really submit people and take the back like Wells. You know, Wells is that big BJJ black belt as well, Renzo Gracie. So I could see him getting a submission as well. And I could just see a finish happening. I know both guys don't really get finished, but with the power and the explosiveness that both guys have, and I think where the grappling defense of Griffin really hasn't been tested with his submission defense in his last couple of fights, I just feel like there's a finish for any point in this fight. So give me the fight doesn't go at minus 136.
All right, I'll give you minus 130. I see you there. So fight doesn't go for Propaholic. Guru, what are you liking for this fight here?
That's funny. I'm on the exact opposite side. I like this fight to go the distance. And here's why. I feel that Max Griffin has proved that he's got a really good chin. And with all the striking that he likes to do, he does have a 57% striking defense. So, he's somebody that, has proved decently durable throughout his career. I mean, Michael Morales is far more explosive for longer than Jeremiah Wells. At the same time, Max Griffin has not fought anybody to the wrestling pace of Jeremiah Wells since his debut of Colby Covington. Not a single fighter wrestles at the pace that Jeremiah Wells does. And I truly think that if Wells sticks to the wrestling, which I think he will, judging by his pace, he's going to lay on top of him, because I don't think Max is going to get up, and he's fairly tough to submit. We really haven't seen him get up. He kind of uses his athletic explosiveness, and that's not really going to be an option here, right? You're not going to be able to Kimura Jeremiah Wells to get up because he's so strong. So I like this fight to go to distance at plus money. So yeah.
All right, plus 110.
Because I was thinking maybe Max Griffin in the beginning, right? But I couldn't get there.
All right. Yeah, all good. So complete opposite there. Guru says fight goes the distance plus 110. Propaholic, fight doesn't go the distance minus 130. I have a strong feeling one of you two will probably get it right. Weezy, what are you liking for this fight here?
That's my bet, is that one of these two below me gets it right this week. What odds do I get on that? I'm going with Wells by decision here. Max Griffin is very, very durable. And I also don't like the minute winning possibilities for Max Griffin in this fight, because Jeremiah Wells is a very suffocating grappler. He's got big boy strength. Jeremiah's been eating his vitamins. He's been saying his prayers. He's been going to bed early, ladies and gentlemen. And he can pick you up and throw you out of the cage, I think. He's that strong, So I think Wells is going to stick to him like glue. And the odds tell me, or the numbers tell me, the same thing. Jeremiah Wells' fights have been at distance striking range over his 38 minutes in the UFC cage, only 20% of the time. The other 80%, it's on the cage and it's on the mat. And that's where Jeremiah is going to do his best work. But Max Griffin is so hard to finish. And I think that what's going to happen is Wells going to wear him out. He's going to win the minutes on the cage and on the mat. And this thing's going to go to decision. So I got plus 260 earlier in the week on FanDuel for a half unit. That's what I'm doing tracked wise. And the official pick here is Wells by decision.
Yeah, I think you beat some linemen with there, Weezy, because I see plus 255. So there you go.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
There you go. All right. So we got Weezy on the Wells decision, Propaholic on the violence, and then Guru on the fight goes to decision there. Let's see. I'm predicting Griffin by split, robbery, decision. Tristan on the fight goes the distance. Wells by unanimous decision. Wells with the round 3 decision. We got Sniper. What is up, Sniper? Wells is a terrifying fighter. Yeah, that's why I'm not betting against him here. I'm picking Griffin, but he does terrify me with that power, that the wrestling he has, the strength. Who is going back to the Wells? I think Weezy is with that decision prop there. We got Cody Blood Money of the winner of the 2023 Best Bet tournament. Shout out to Cody. Best of luck to you as well today. And then Blood is on the Griffin by KO or close decision. Silky on the split. We shall see. Max Griffin's tough, but Wells just has every intangible. Yeah, Wells is he's different, man. I mean, this guy has a ton of power, great wrestling. We'll see how that plays out. All right, next we have another like mess of a fight. Devin Clark versus Marcin Prachnio. We got Devin Clark, believe it or not, is a minus 210 favorite, opening up minus 130. We got Marcin Prachnio opening up plus 110, currently plus 180. Clark, a very popular play this week. And I mean, if you look at the other side, you can kind of tell why. But Weezy, I have a feeling you may pass on this one, but yeah, do you have a bet on it?
I do. It's actually in my greasy 4-leg parlay, and I'm going to give the same thing that I gave in the parlay here. There's a differential in terms of being able to win minutes on the cage and on the mat here in favor of Devin Clark. And Devin Clark's fights over a huge sample size of 178 minutes of UFC cage time. This guy's only spending 38% of his cage time at distance striking range. Marcin Prachnio is a kickboxer who needs some room to work. He doesn't want to grapple. He spends 75% of his UFC cage time at distance striking range. But Clark's a very high volume wrestler. He loves to clinch up. He loves to use those big legs of his to kind of be a strong base and put you up against that cage, land the bigger shots there. I think he's going to win the minutes here. I think he could even get a late finish. So I'm going Devin Clark round 3 or decision. I got it at plus 100 yesterday when I did the greasy 4-leg parlay. And I don't know if there's any better lines than that right now, but I'll go with Clark round 3 decision plus 100.
Yeah, I think it's plus 100 best price currently for that. I like it. Propaholic, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, so I actually parlayed Devin Clark with Daniel Marcos earlier in the week. I got Marcos at 205 and Clark at minus 186, so beat some line movement on both of them there. But the bet I'm going to give out here is pretty much a long shot, but I kind of like the odds of it. It's Devin Clark to win in round 3 plus 1100. Like, Prachnio literally just kind of like gasses after 5 minutes. He's going to try to use a lot of high volume with kicks. He's going to go after the body of Clark, and Clark's going to be able to hold him down and catch a body kick at some point. And Devin Clark has good, like, dirty boxing up against the fence. Right after the clinch, he throws good elbows. He's going to wear on Prachnio. And if this fight goes to the 3rd round, we all know who's going to have the better cardio. Like, Petrosyan, who really doesn't, like, grapple and really take down anyone, was able to just get him down and submit him and hold him like he was a D1 wrestler. Meanwhile, Devin Clark has been doing this against, like very good 205ers, better than Petrosyan's been doing it against. So I feel like it's very green. Prachnio's ground game, and I think Devin Clark could get a ground and pound. I think Devin Clark can submit him in the 3rd round. So give me Devin Clark to win in round 3 at plus 1100. It's a long shot, but I think it's very live here.
Yep. I mean, I'm with you. I think the late props are very live here. I sprinkled them myself. Guru, what are you liking for this fight here?
I don't think I'm going to sound too different than anybody else. I kind of agree with Weezy's prop, right? With the round 3 decision. So I honestly, with the risk of sounding the exact same, that is where I'm going to go, because I feel that he is going to get the job done by holding him against the cage. And I don't necessarily trust Marcin to do much of anything, right? He just wants to kick at distance, right? And I don't think Clark is going to give him the space. So, I mean, could I maybe I'll do 1.5 instead. I think I can get over 1.5. I see like minus 110. Is any chance at plus money? Do you see that at all? Probably not.
For the
right?
over 1.5?
Yeah, and well, with Devin Clark.
Oh, I don't know.
I got a minus 110 on my book, but probably not.
Clark and over 1.5, you're saying, Guru?
Correct. I got that minus 110 on Bet365 here.
Let's see what it is on I've got minus 118 on Bet Rivers, so whatever line is better.
All right, I mean, Clark and over 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I'm just gonna sound the same as as Uncle Weezy, right? Because I love round 3 decision as well. Because it's the same thing as Prop said. He likes the round 3 finish. So do I. But I also don't think Devin Clark really finishes anybody. So,
All right, sounds good to me. Guru's taking the Clark money line and the over 1.5. Propaholic is taking the round 3 shot, and we got Weezy taking the Clark round 3 decision there. Devin Clark, baby, let's go. Ver might bet Marcin Prachnio. Jack's hype for this fight, my goodness, we'll see. I mean, this fight, I don't know. Devin Clark inside the distance, plus 175 for me. Betting on Clark is insane. Yeah, we shall see. I mean, he has a clear path here. Haven't bet Prachnio yet. Clark inside the distance is good value. I mean, he's not really a finisher, but maybe the late sprinkles could be interesting. How many 1-800 Gambler fights are on this card? Let's see. I think like 3. I think it might be like 3 or 4. There's a good amount. We got Thomas Kent in the chat. What is this? Who are these bums? Shout out to Thomas Kent. Thank you for hanging out and stopping by. Clark is better, but again, by decision. Not betting on Clark is insane. We'll see. Devin Clark has the biggest size in the UFC. Pause, though. I don't know. Jamal Pogues might have him covered there. Right, Weezy?
Yeah.
Let's see. Money just recently came in against Clark. Let's take a refresh then. Nothing's really showing up on my end, but we'll see. All right. Next, we have the biggest favorite on the card. Loma Lookboonmee, minus 301, going against Brasil, plus 251. What really stuck out was the face-offs. Like, Bruna Brasil, she looked literally 2 weight classes bigger than Loma. Very concerned, especially when we're talking about laying minus 300. So, I don't know I'm not betting on this fight, but I'm curious to hear what you guys came up with on this one. We'll start with you, Guru. What are you liking here?
And you started with me, so I get to start and tell you that I am passing. Yeah, it's super sketchy, and the money line, like you just said, is super overpriced, so I'm out of it. If listen, as I wrote down here in my notes, you're getting crazy. You want to get crazy with me? I'll get crazy. I like Loma round 2 KO at plus 2,000. Right, Bruna Brasil's been KO'd of all her 3 losses, and she's been 1 injury and then 1 knockout in round 2. So maybe she gets it again with ground and pound. So that's like where I'm going if you're going absolutely nuts. But like, I just don't really see any value in it. So I'm going to save my unit for something else.
All right, Weezy, what are you liking on this fight? You want to put 1 unit on Loma to win like 0.36 units?
No, I'm going to go the other way and put 1 unit on Bruna Brasil's plus 3.5 points handicap in this fight at plus 115 here. Loma's a good fighter. I think she's really good. And I don't think Bruna wants to get into the clinch with her, but I think if she stays out of the clinch, I think this is going to be a close fight. Loma's not beating the brakes off of anybody if you list the wins, you're like, they're all ho-hum. Who cares about the wins that she has on her record? And Bruna Brasil kind of fits into that type of fighter that's maybe just a little bit above the ones that she's beating. Like Elise Reed's a white belt, so when people think that Loma's going to take down Brasil and do to her what she did to Elise Reed, who doesn't even own a gi, come on. This is not going to be, there's a levels thing here. Brasil's bigger, she's taller, she's longer, she fights at a really good camp. And she showed a little bit of fight IQ the last time out against Bannon. I thought she won all 3 rounds. Everybody's talking about how Bannon's horrible. Ladies and gentlemen, half the women's strawweight class is horrible. Okay, and 2 of these fighters are on that precipice here. So I think it's going to be a little bit close. I think it goes the full 3 rounds here. I think maybe Bruna can win a round on all 3 judges' scorecards, and we cash this plus 3.5 points handicap.
And you said that was plus 115?
Plus 115 on Bet Online.
Which that's kind of wild for like a strawweight fight, for Brazil to win 1 round. And what's also wild to me is like the fight goes is only minus 180 for, again, a strawweight fight. So a lot of people are expecting a finish here, believe it or not. A lot of people in the chat as well. Propaholic, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, I bet Brazil money line at plus 205. It was actually the first fight I actually taped on this card, and I didn't think the line was gonna shift this way. But I'm actually gonna pass because someone in my Discord just sent me that Bruno Brazil has a fucking OnlyFans and made it this week of the fight, which it's like, for God's sake, you make the OnlyFans after I bet you. So yeah, I'm just gonna pass. I just hope she goes out there and tries to cover plus 205. So yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with passing, especially on this fight. This has got to be a dog or pass. It's kind of a pass or pass for me, but yeah, you don't want to lay minus 300 on Loma. War Loma, Dixon with the OnlyFans fade. I think Dixon did actually subscribe to the Brazil OnlyFans, and I think he said something along the lines of, "It's not that great." So it's not that great. So
Well, we
you
know
don't want
Dixon.
to,
Dixon
yeah.
does
She
the
has a
hard work for the
terrifying
community.
It's terrifying. You said, Propaholic? What'd you say?
No, it's like she has a terrifying look when like she's fighting her opponents with the stare down that she
Oh.
does. Like she just is a terrifying look with her eyes. It's weird.
Loma inside the distance. Brazil sub sprinkle. I don't know, man. Bruno OnlyFans fade is in full effect. Trusting a superiorly smaller fighter. Yeah, it shocked me. Like, I know Loma's typically smaller than a lot of her opponents, but my goodness, like Brazil was like towering over her. Talk to him, Uncle Weezy. He's talking to us. He's talking to us. Lookboonmee? No, she's not a lock, but I think she wins. She should win, but definitely not a lock. Should we all agree that this betting line on this fight is a little bit wide? Yeah, it's definitely wide.
Yeah.
I will marry Loma. Shout out to Thomas. Wanted to marry Loma. Good call on the Uncle Weez on the fade. Even like the plus 3.5. Like Brazil could go out there and win a round. You think? Let's see here. She's a quitter. Yeah, she does have some quit in her. Ellen Weez. Yeah, he's telling us. He's telling us. That's an awful take. I don't know who he's talking about, but awful take. I don't know which one of you guys he's talking about. Loma would beat Bannon under 7 minutes. I don't. Loma's not some murderous finisher. I mean, she finished Elise Reed. I mean,
she's got one finish in her entire career, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, and I think you have to go back to when Brady was in high school to find that fight. Okay. All right, 7 minutes. Shauna Bannon, she gets smoked by Loma.
I don't know.
She'll be the first one.
Like, I bet Loma big against Elise Reed, and I wasn't feeling too good about it. She lost the first round to Elise Reed. I can't bring up that comment there. Juice not worth a squeeze. Yeah, it's one of those. Loma inside the distance seems legit. Loma will definitely have to get wrestling going to make the price worth it. I agree. And we'll talk about that main event soon there, Pilot. If Loma doesn't win inside the distance, then that line is awful. And once again, Thomas loves Loma Lookboonmee. Just loves her. All right, guys.
Handsome woman. You got to give it to Thomas. She is a handsome woman. He's got good taste.
Absolutely. All right. We'll move on to the next fight, which was supposed to be Balaji Oki going against Damir Hadzovic. In steps on short notice Timothy Kwamba. Big step up in competition from like a Damir Hadzovic. Hence the line. We got Balaji Oki, who was like minus 300 just about against Hadzovic. He's now minus 170 against Kwamba. Kwamba is sitting at plus 145. Kwamba seems to be a very popular dog this week. A lot of people really high on him. Curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. We'll start with you, Propaholic. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to pass on this one. I don't have a bet here or a rate on this one. I liked Oki against Damir, but I don't really trust him in this spot, and I just think it could be a close fight, so I'm just staying away.
Yeah, I'm staying away as well. I liked Oki against Hadzovic also, but this is definitely not Hadzovic. It's a step up. So, Propaholic, you have 3 passes used. You have 1 pass left. We'll kick it to Uncle Weezy. Weezy, you have only used 1 pass. Do you like something on this fight, or are you passing as well?
No, I'm passing on this one. I had Oki was going to be the ass shaving of the week against Hadzovic, but this fight got made about 2 hours before I did just the tip on Tuesday night, so I didn't tape Kwamba. And at that point, I like to move on to next week, so I didn't even tape Kwamba. I didn't even watch the Vogel fight. I remember it vaguely from DWCS, so I'm just going to stay completely out of the pool on this one. And there's 14 fights on this card. I'm not rushing to spend another couple hours taping a fighter that I might not even bet on the fight anyway. So I moved on to next week.
Yep. 14 fights, lots to choose from. I think I did a good job in passing on a lot of these prelims this week. And this was one of them I did pass on as well. So pretty much everybody passing thus far. But Guru, is there something you like on this fight?
there's so many intangibles in this fight that I have no choice but to pass. Luckily, I have plus money plays for the rest of the card. But yeah, I mean, this fight, there's so many different things, right? Whether it's this fight, whether it's the Pauga Guskov fight, whether it's the Fernie Emil fight. Here's another fight where you're expecting a guy to be so much bigger, and he comes in and he's the same exact size. Dude's up a weight class. He just fought last week. And he got, like, it was a fight. It got into the second round. He got hit a couple times. Like, I have no idea what kind of condition he's actually in. And he got the shot. He, basically deserves to be in the UFC. So he's got no, real investment in really winning this fight. Of course, he wants to win, but he's secured his bag for the moment. This is like a regroup moment to get into the UFC. So I just kind of like fight to go the distance at the end of the day, but I'm not going to risk my unit here on it.
Yeah, I kind of lean fight goes as well. It'd be kind of terrifying in an Oki with the way this guy fights. Just you're gonna be sweating, but I think it could potentially go. I'm not betting it though. So yeah, everybody passing on it, including myself. Guru, you have no passes left. Weezy, I think you have 2, and then Prop, I think you have 1 there. We got UFC saying Oki. Yeah, I'm excited about this guy, but I wanted to see him go out there and beat up Hadzovic. To be honest, this is a much different matchup. Flowers fight will go the distance. I don't like hearing that. We'll talk about why. Kwamba Nation says Moy's audio. Moy's high on Kwamba. Bailey on the Kwamba money line. Yes, he is. He's a 145er. Kwamba looked the same size as Oki at the face-offs. Tough fight to judge now. Yeah, like Guru said, a lot of these were interesting at the face-offs. Kwamba round 3 decision, says Dixon. Is there a single high confidence spot on the main card? I think there's a couple. On these prelims, I don't have a ton of confidence spots there on these prelims. Bong break fight. My Guru knows a lot about that, I'm sure. Kwamba was a favorite. You're capping. What? Kwamba?
No,
he's an underdog. Okie dokie. Give me a parlay. Brady, remind me at the end. I'll see if I can give you a parlay. This fight is a fade for me. Sorry, I'm late. Had to get to that Texas Roadhouse. Heck yeah. Shout out to Texas Roadhouse, man. And let's see here. I got Oki. I believe he passes the test. Can't go against Oki here. Kwamba is a very good fighter. He's a very good fighter. But he is coming in here on short notice. Just fought. So we'll see. Got Little Fan the Man saying, hey, Brady, can you give a shout out to my buddy? I got to be careful when I say these names because sometimes they try to trick me to make me say something terrible to get me canceled. So I think this should be okay. Shout out to Keenan. Am I good? Shout out to Keenan. Appreciate you, Lil Fan the Man. Always nice seeing you in the chat. Oki's got this early. Flowers, Jonathan, fight goes. It isn't just a sprinkle. Easy fight for Oki. We shall see. And who was the ass shaving of the week? It was supposed to be Oki Weezy. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. Yeah. He's on the main card. High confidence bets always lose. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. And I think cancel. Yeah, you can't say Keenan into that. I wouldn't be shocked. So
you had a good one, Brady, but you said Keenan. It's over.
I did. You got to be careful. But all right, we're going to get now into the featured prelim. We have 487 of you hanging in here. If you guys could smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to these guys. Let's see if we can get 100 likes by the time we get out of here. Last week, we hit like 130 likes. It was awesome. So see if we can hit 100 again here. But we have Carlos Prates going against Officer Trevin Giles. We got Carlos Prates currently minus 250. Officer Trevin Giles plus 210. We'll start with you, Uncle Weezy. Anything sticking out for this prelim fight? Carlos Prates, newcomer, looks really good. But Officer Trevin Giles, he has that experience. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm going with the over 1.5 rounds. It's at 120 minus 120 right now on Cloud Bet. And this is a trifecta bet on my prop template here. It's a 54.5% implied probability, but about 67% of welterweight fights go over 1.5 rounds. And Trevin Giles has 12 UFC fights. 9 of those 12 have went over 1.5 rounds. So we're getting a very underpriced line here, according to the benchmark for the division and according to Giles' 75% over rate in the UFC, especially with half of that coming at middleweight, where there are higher finish rates as opposed to welterweight. So Prates is making his debut. He's a phenomenal striker. He is really fun to watch. And yeah, I mean, of course, he could bonk him in the first round, and Giles has got power of his own. But I think Giles is going to clinch up with this dude. I think he's going to slow down this fight. And if he doesn't, he's kind of stupid because this dude's taller than him, longer than him, and a lot more explosive of a striker. So I'm taking that shot on the over 1.5 rounds at -120. The analytics love it.
All right, -120 for the over. Yeah, if Giles was smart, he would absolutely clinch up here and not stand at range with this guy who has a crazy reach and just crazy power. But as we know, Officer Giles seems to make some mistakes, so we'll see. Propaholic, anything you liking in this fight here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Prates round 2. It's plus 475 on FanDuel. He's kind of like a late starter to me. Like, he kind of gets his jab going, he gets his kick game going, and I think Giles is gonna try to take him down. I think Prates is gonna be held up against the fence for a little bit of for the first round, and I think he's gonna damage the leg of Giles. And Parsons also dropped him really bad, hurt him in round 2. He dropped him in round 1 as well, and almost submitted him. I don't think Prates is gonna try to jump the submission like Parsons, and Giles is always getting hurt. And he's just always kind of just like getting dropped. And just like I said, Prates kind of starts a little late. And I think round 2 at plus 475 is the play here because I just don't think Giles is durable. I think he's at a mismatch here. He's at like a 7. I think he's at like a 6-inch reach disadvantage. So I think he's going to get picked apart. And I think he gets knocked down in the second round. So Prates round 2 at plus 475 for me.
All right, calling a shot. Prates round 2. Guru, what are you liking for this fight here?
I'm on something quite similar. I've got Prates in round 1 or round 2 at plus 105. And my rationale here is that Prates has 8 round 1 finishes and 5 round 2 finishes. And unfortunately for Prates, he's been finished 5 times, all in round 1. So he quits. So like, I don't trust this at all. So if you like Giles, like you take him. And if you like Prates, you better hope that he gets it done early because I have zero confidence if this fight extends out. But yeah, I think he like Prop said though, I think he's got an athletic advantage here, so I think he's going to get it done. And I don't really trust Giles anymore. But when you look at Giles' level of competition, I mean, getting subbed by Bonfim's not so bad. Getting knocked out by the champ Dricus du Plessis, not so bad. Like I think he's kind of shot, but we'll see.
Yeah, but it's hard to trust, a debuting Contender Series guy, but we shall see. It looks like the goods, but yeah, he has been finished a lot for what it's worth. Smash it like I agree. Anybody know what the yam bag is this week? Yeah, it's on the main card. It's Johnson Flowers, which makes a lot of sense. Prates all day, easy money. Can you guys say Nuggets? Shout out to Nuggets Hemingway. Shout out to him. Officer down. Yeah, there might be an officer down in a couple hours. We shall see. Ihor fights round 2 plus 240. That's a crazy line for a fight starting round 2. Prates by sub round 2. And we got Lou Betcha in the building. What is up, Lou Betcha? By the way, free Lou Betcha. He got suspended on Twitter for like no reason. So Twitter or X, let's unban this guy. It makes no sense. Prates round 1 and round 2 for Thomas as well. I need a fight to bet the draw on. Any draw spots sticking out to you guys? None really for me. No draw calls.
There's going to be one coming up, man. I just found out last night that the draw percentage for 3-round fights is 0.75% of the time it happens. So it's got to happen soon. We haven't had a draw in a minute.
I know. It's been a while. Let's go Fighting Nerds. Yep, Fighting Nerds in a really good gym. A lot of these guys are looking good as of late. Round 2, Prates, agreeing with Propaholic there. I like Prates. He's got really strong knee. Yeah, I've seen him like kill somebody with a big knee. I've seen him knock guys out with jabs. The dude seems to be legit. But him being a debuting Contender Series guy is kind of the one thing that scares me. Thoughts on Egan? We'll be talking about that fight. I like him. I know Weezy likes him as well. Can't bet Giles with all the body cam cop footage I've been watching. My goodness. I wonder if they let him bring the body cam into the octagon on Saturday or today. We'll see. We'll see if they let him bring it in here. Draws are massive. Yes, they are. 66-1. I think Bet365 has it 80-1. Wells fight could be the draw. We'll see. Prates might win by liver kick, to be honest. You never know with Officer Trevin Giles. And Thomas, let's cool it down. I have not blocked anybody in 2024. My New Year's resolution is to not block anybody. So I haven't done it yet. But Thomas, we got to cool it down just a tad. Just a little warning there. I don't want you to be my first block, right? I don't want Thomas Kent to be my first block. All right. I'm backing the blue for once. Giles, third round or decision. And what's up?
I'm backing the blue. I love it. He's saying
Yeah,
he's supporting the cops. You
no,
know,
I
so
know.
he's
I got it. I got it. Okay. Let's see here. And I'm not even going to get into it. All right. We'll move on to, actually, no, we got to recap some of these bets here. So we'll start with Uncle Weezy. Weezy, you are taking the Marcos under 1.5 rounds versus a Ricci Long plus 255. The refs need body cam. They do have body cam in the PFL. I mean, oh my goodness. All right. So Weezy, you're passing on the Emil fight. You're taking Pauga minus 130, Wells by decision plus 255, the Clark round 3 decision plus 100, Brazil plus 3.5 point spread plus 115, passing on the Oki fight. Prates over 1.5 rounds minus 120. Weezy, does all that look correct?
Yes, sir. All correct. Let's keep moving.
All right. Probaholic, Marcos round 3 decision minus 125, passing on the Emil fight. Guskov KO1 plus 305. Wells Griffin fight doesn't go to decision minus 130. Clark round 3 plus 1100, passing on the Brazil fight in the Oki fight, and then Prates round 2 plus 475. Prop, does that look good to you?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
And then last but not least, Guru, you're passing on the Marcos and Emil fight. You got the Pauga and the over 2.5 minutes plus 110. Wells Griffin fight goes the distance plus 110. Clark moneyline and over 1.5 minus 110, passing on the Loma fight, Oki fight, and Prates round 1, round 2 plus 105. Does that look right to you?
Looks great.
All right, Guru, you've used all your passes. Propaholic, you have 1 pass, and Weezy, you have 2 passes left there. So we shall move on then to the main card opener. It was a fight that we were supposed to watch a couple months ago. Pretty closely lined fight here. A lot of people split one way or another. We got Rodolfo Vieira minus 115, Petrosyan minus 105. Pretty much a pick 'em striker versus grappler matchup. Who's going to get their game plan going here? We'll start with our Uncle Weezy. What are you liking for this main card opener?
I got the Vieira money line here. I know that he's going to wrestle. I know that Petrosyan's takedown defense is really bad. And Vieira is the kind of guy where if you make any mistakes trying to get back up, this dude is going to wind up on your back. And he will either finish you with the rear naked choke, or if you get too complacent, just kind of waiting him out, his crushing top control will allow him to be able to win rounds with that wrestling, with that top control. And then he's going to be hunting for that arm triangle the entire time. So I see him winning the minutes of this fight. I think he can get a submission win, or I think he could wind up getting takedowns in 2 out of the 3 rounds and winning a bunch of minutes on the ground. But I like him to win this fight. I think it's a pretty good matchup for Vieira because this guy Petrosyan does not have good takedown defense. And if you let Vieira get on top of you, it puts you in really bad spots.
All right, Weezy taking the Vieira money line. Guru, what are you liking for this fight here?
I'm actually on the other side. I've got the Petrosyan money line. And, unfortunately, this is a rebooked fight, which I never really like to play again. But I'm going to take him hopefully at plus money where, I expect him to, keep the fight standing more often than not. Because while he does give up some takedowns, you've seen him fight to get to his feet fairly quickly. And that can leave you open to Rodolfo Vieira rear naked choke. But if he doesn't get it early, I just don't trust his cardio. I do trust the cardio of Petrosyan. And if he starts failing on those takedown attempts, he's going to start looking real silly. So Petrosyan could really pull away down the stretch. He might even get a finish in like round 3 type situation. But I don't want to get too dicey, and I'm just going to take a coin flip. I'm going to take plus money. So give it to me.
All right, we got Weezy on Vieira, Guru on Petrosyan, Probaholic. Which side are you on here?
Yeah, so I'm just going to go with the Rodolfo Vieira money line and minus 112. I think he's going to cover this fight. I honestly like it being in the Apex Center as well. Petrosyan's just going to be backing up the whole time, trying to use his kicks. And Vieira actually has a very good jab. I mean, in the Stolfus fight, he was able to manage that jab, and he was able to wait until after the first round and use his cardio in the second and third round to get him and grab the back. And if he grabs Petrosyan's back like that, it's going to be game over. And in the transitions with Berhalo, like, he was putting himself into the arm triangle where if he gives up his back and tries to get back up, Vieira just does such a slick way of transitioning into the arm triangle. I don't think Petrosyan's going to be able to fight it. We know the guy has bad takedown defense. He's been taking down his regional scene tape. I mean, AJ Dobson even had his back in the first 20 seconds and just decided to let him up and didn't really try to shoot takedowns the rest of the fight. And CDL is not a wrestler at all. That guy was just throwing a bunch of spinning kicks the whole time and fucking around in the whole entire fight. So, and also, like, people saying that Vieira has bad cardio. He's been to the 15 minutes with Chris Curtis and won a round of striking and shot 20 takedowns. And of how deep he was in those takedowns, he's getting Petrosyan down with those takedown attempts where he tried to get Curtis down with. So, yeah, I like Rodolfo Vieira in the spot at -112. I know he's 35. He's getting up there, but I think he has a clear advantage here. I think he's going to manage the striking, and I think he's going to submit Armin Petrosyan. So give me the Vieira money line.
All right, Vieira money line for Weezy and Probaholic, and then Garut going the other way. We got Nacho Man, Randy Sandwich in the building. What is up, Nacho Man? Petra via sub plus $1 million. Yeah, Petrosyan sub is something crazy, like +20, like +2,000, something like that. If this fight goes over 1.5, Petra is winning. Justin on the fight doesn't go the distance. Vieira is going down, so old and cuts so much. Petrosyan's take defense stack going to cost you all the dough. Yeah, his take defense is terrible. Petrosyan round 3. Vieira will sub him easy. Vieira's wrestling so mid. I don't think it's not great, but I mean, a gust of wind can take Petrosyan down. I mean, Petrosyan has the worst take on defense I've ever seen in my life. Petrosyan is an easy pick here. Well, you got to pick him line. A lot of people do think that. A lot of people are very confident either side there. So when you got to pick him, that's typically the approach for a lot of people. Armin Petrosyan is great value. Roman Kopylov, yeah, they are kind of similar there. I would knock out a third round Vieira. A big donut would knock out third round Vieira. I love
Chris
it.
Curtis couldn't do it.
I love it. Live, yeah, could be a live bet. We'll see. All right, we'll move on, guys, to Michael Johnson going against Darius Flowers. We got Michael Johnson -144, Darius Flowers +124. What a mess of a fight. Man, I have too much action on this fight, but we'll start with Probaholic. Probaholic, how are you attacking this one?
Yeah, so I'm gonna attack that under 1.5. I bet it at -110, but I see a -101 right there. I just think that Darius Flowers is gonna come out with a killer be killed mentality. And when you're watching Johnson's tape, he's hurting basically all of his opponents in round 1 besides Mark Diakise, who's a kickboxer and doesn't have pressure like Darius Flowers and isn't so bad at MMA like Darius Flowers. Darius Flowers is going to try to pressure him as Michael Johnson's going to use his speed and his power early. And I think someone's going to die in the first round. I just see someone getting dropped. And if you watch the Johnson versus Ferreira fight, Johnson was messing up Ferreira and actually hurt him really bad in the first round until Ferreira just landed an overhand right from hell. He set it up very good with the jab and then switched stances into the overhand right and knocked Johnson out cold. So I feel like Flowers is going to have his moments. I think Flowers is going to fade, and it's a huge step up for Flowers as well. Say what you want about MJ. Yeah, he can't be trusted, but the guy is a slick boxer, and he has power as well. So I think someone's going to get knocked out early. So give me that under 1.5 at -101.
Yeah, I mean, Darius Flowers under 1.5 is never a terrible idea. Weezy, I know you have a strong take on this one, as strong as you can be on this one. What do you like in here?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reasoning for the Pauga fight. Look, Michael Johnson's 10 times the fighter that Darius Flowers will ever be in terms of skill, in terms of being well-rounded, in terms of experience, in terms of conditioning, in terms of strength of schedule, in terms of technical boxing, in terms of just about everything, training partners, everything. Could he get bonked early? Sure. Could happen to anybody. But this guy Flowers doesn't have anything that Michael Johnson doesn't already possess and possess better. So I'm just laying the juice on Michael Johnson's money line here.
Laying the juice on Michael Johnson. It sounds nasty, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I might have to get out the oranges and hit you with him, Uncle Weezy, because Michael Johnson is one of the least trustworthy fighters. He will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. He can be winning the entire fight. He will slip on a banana peel. It'll be his own banana peel. It doesn't matter. You cannot play him at chalk. So what I'm going to do is not only am I on Darius Flowers' money line, I'm going to get a little bit spicier than that. What I want is Darius Flowers by his best win condition. And that's Darius Flowers round 1 and round 2. Because let's be honest, if it gets into round 3 or it really extends out, I do expect Johnson's veteranship to take over. But I really don't expect him to get a finish because even though Darius Flowers has lost 6 times, it's 5 submissions. I don't really see it. So let's go Darius Flowers round 1, round 2. I believe I can get plus 200 or unless, Brady's got something better for me.
200 it is. Plus 200 it is. There we go. Yeah, I have a strong feeling that one of you two will be right between Weezy and Guru. I think one of you two will probably nail it there. That's my hot take of the week. Gosh, what a fight this is. Way too much action on it, but we'll see how it goes. This is a fight. I'm putting $100 on this to not go the distance. Appreciate you, Andy Mush Pictures. This one goes the distance after they both try to take each other's heads off in the first. Flowers decision would probably be the most shocking outcome since Fluffy submitted Rodolfo Vieira. I mean, that would be just shocking. A Flowers decision. I think this is more likely than a Darius Flowers tombstone pile driver. I think is more likely than we could see that.
I said, Brady, that I think Flowers would be the first UFC fighter to actually pick a guy up and throw him out of the cage. I could see him doing that. Like his takedowns are so powerful. I think if he knocks out Johnson, it's with some kind of crazy takedown where he elevates him and drops him on something and something just breaks.
No, you're 100% right. I think that's his path to victory, a tombstone pile driver or throwing him out of the cage. Landing on Chris Lee. Michael Johnson looks like he's been sleeping in the corner of a subway station, sipping on whiskey out of a brown paper bag. Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know what's
cashing out my bet. After that, I got to cash out my bet now.
It was funny in media day when he was like talking about Darius Flowers. Like he blocked Darius Flowers on Instagram because he said Darius Flowers was trying to look into his camp. He's like, I don't want him to see everything that I'm doing during my training camp. Why would I do that? Like he was getting all mad about that. So I thought that was weird.
Yeah, really weird. And Michael Johnson. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Michael Johnson, but laying the juice on Michael Johnson. I just put $20 on Flowers to win in the first 3 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably his path. Plus
pretty good value.
Yeah. Good luck to you as well. Guaranteed nonsense.
Yeah.
Guru, you don't think MJ can knock out Flowers?
I mean, of course. It's MMA. 4-ounce gloves. I mean, what? Yeah, but I think
anything could happen. I mean, Flowers with that impeccable 1-10 boxing record of his, where he had 7 knockout losses. Yeah, I guess it's somewhat possible that a boxer of the quality of Michael Johnson might actually outpoint this guy from range.
I just think he's kind of washed, and I'm going to be honest. Power for power, I think Darius Flowers is going to have him beat.
Yeah, I mean that's his thing. He's
Flowers hits hard. Yeah,
big, powerful guy.
Yeah.
All right. We will move on to the next fight. We have Gregory Rodriguez going against Brad Tavares. We got Rodriguez minus 238, Tavares plus 203. Uncle Weezy, this is your moment to shine, your big ass shaving of the week. What do you got for this one here?
Yeah, and I didn't really like a lot of the props here, so I'm just going with the Gregory Rodriguez money line, minus 238 there on Bet Online. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to put me on the Mount Rushmore of MMA gamblers if I cash this one, but I'm just playing it safe here. Tavares definitely getting up there in age. I think Rodriguez is going to be throwing more volume. I think he's going to be landing the bigger shots, and I think that he's got the grappling upside, even though I don't really rate that as being a great thing against somebody like Tavares, who has such phenomenal takedown defense. But yeah, I think Rodriguez definitely gets the job done here. I think Tavares has got a lot of tread on those tires. He's definitely getting up there. He's definitely starting to lose a little bit of that durability that he's had throughout his whole career. and I think Johnson's going to snatch it from him, probably get him out of there in the second round. So I'm going with that Gregory Rodriguez money line. I think it's an ass shaving.
Rodriguez money line -238 for Weezy. Guru, what are you liking for this fight here?
I'm very happy to be at peace with Uncle Weezy on this fight because I agree with him. This is my ass shaving of the week thought as well. Not that I do that, but kudos to Weezy to think that. I think he's the safest, chalky favorite. He's the safest chalky favorite. I think that's the best way to put it. What I'm gonna do here though is I'm gonna take G-Rod by finish, and I'm gonna make that my best bet because I think that G-Rod's going to crush him. I just don't know that Tavares is going to do anything to keep G-Rod at bay. I think he's going to keep moving forward. Not for nothing, I think Gregory Rodriguez is also live for a sub because coming into the UFC, he was basically even KOs and subs, and he's just bonked like 3-4 guys in a row. And yeah, obviously, if it's not obvious to you guys, you tell me otherwise, but I think Tavares' chin is gone, right? And you don't want to test it with Gregory Rodriguez. So,
all right.
Finish.
Inside the distance, I see +155 for Rodriguez. And yeah, we'll get towards the best bets at the end there. So you're liking Rodriguez. Weezy's liking Rodriguez. Probaholic, are you liking Rodriguez or are you looking at something else here?
Yeah, I'm looking at something with Rodriguez, but it's going to be the fight doesn't go to decision at -125. I have a track bet on it for 1.25 units on William Hill. So I just feel like people are telling me that Tavares isn't live for a finish. Like I should have just bet RoboCop inside the distance. Like I honestly think Tavares is live for a finish because when you watch Rodriguez, he really doesn't check leg kicks at all. And if you rewatch the Marquez fight, like as soon as Julian Marquez threw 3 leg kicks, like RoboCop just went into a complete frenzy and then just started like attacking him like crazy up against the fence and was throwing all his power into him. And when you watch Tavares get into these exchanges, he tends to just throw back. He really just doesn't he doesn't try to skirt the outside and throw more leg kicks because when he gets boxed up against the fence, he's throwing back with his chin tucked. And the Weidman fight was pretty alarming. I mean, I had a bet on Brad Tavares at like -260 and it was a sweaty bet. Like Weidman was just landing on him and there was just very weird reactions. I know I cashed on Bruno Silva by KO at like +400 when he knocked out Brad Tavares. But I like the fight doesn't go here. Like, I think RoboCop is very live to knock out Tavares. I think Tavares is live to finish him as well. Like, Akhmedov hurt him bad. Duplessis was hurting him bad after he grappled him for the whole first round. Like, I just didn't, like, Rodriguez isn't going to do that. And Rodriguez got cracked against Jung Young Park as well. Like, if Jung Young Park's cracking you in the first minute of the second round, how can Brad Tavares? So, yeah, and RoboCop's been knocked out before as well, and he's kill or be killed. So, yeah, getting a -125 price tag on these two guys who are just going to bang in a smaller cage with a lot of finishing upright from both guys, I think it's a very good bet and a good number for violence here.
Taking violence there, man. If Tavares finishes Rodriguez after not finishing Chris Weidman, it would be the most MMA thing ever. I mean, that would just be terrible. But yeah, you're right. Rodriguez, that's how he loses. He gets knocked out. Joel on the Tavares side, he's going to win and F up all the parlays. Yeah, I'm sure he's pretty popular parlay piece this week. RoboCop all day. I think it's a over or pass for me here, but might be a DoorDash fight of the night for me. G-Rod, ground and pound. Rodriguez, my only confident play this week. Yeah, we got 2 cops on the card. We got RoboCop, Greg Rodriguez, and then we got Officer Trevin Giles. I wonder if anybody's doing like an officer parlay. Could be some big plus money. Rodriguez is a bit overrated. Tavares money line, plus money under. Tavares decision only, could go crazy. Hands up, RoboCop by TKO. RoboCop by violent arrest. Tavares' chin is not gone. His durability is looking a little shaky as of late. Tavares round 3 decision. 2 cops are going to lose on this card. Well, we shall see. I think I'm split on him 1-1 here. It wasn't very long ago. Tavares gave DDP a tough fight. Tavares at nearly +200 looks good to me. Jimmy on the Tavares side as well. Not going to lie, the Bruno KO loss made me lose faith in RoboCop. The Bruno Ferreira KO loss. Yeah, I mean, that's how he loses. You know, he got knocked out by some guys outside the UFC. Jordan Williams knocked him out. Just how he loses there. Most MMA thing ever. Yeah, it would be crazy. RoboCop's chin is sus. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Pauga was a cop. Look at that. 3 cops on the board. UFC.
When did he have time to be a cop, dude? The guy was playing NFL football.
He wants to play 3 sports also.
My
My
goodness.
God, I didn't know Zach Pauga was a
That's
cop.
crazy.
Look at that. So we could do a police officer parlay. Zach Pauga, Rodriguez, and Officer Trevin Giles probably comes out to like plus 1,000, maybe plus 800. Like probably big plus money there.
That was money line, yeah.
Tavares plus 3.5. I'm not touching it, but all right. So yeah, Hobocop. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the next fight. We have a fight that I kind of feel like the Max Griffin and Jeremiah Wells fight should be flipped with this one, but it should be fun, I suppose. We got Robert Brichek going against Ihor Peteria. We got Robert Brichek minus 160, Peteria plus 140. Money's been pouring in on Peteria throughout the week. Opened up plus 235. Brichek opened up a much bigger favorite at plus 275. Brichek looked good on the scales. I wanted to see him on the scales. I also wanted to see Peteria on the scales because he was cutting down a whole weight class for, I think, the second time in his career on short notice. He missed weight. He didn't look great. He needs a haircut. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, this is such a hard pass for me. I mean, I think it finishes early, but there's no value in the line. I mean, even Brichek by first round KO is like plus 1 something. So yeah, no thanks, man. I'm just staying away from this one. It's going to be a fun fight to watch, though.
Yep. Brichek by first round KO is like plus 170. I think you had to lay juice on Brichek KO in general. Let's see. Yeah, Brichek inside the distance minus 135. Brichek KO is minus 130. Like, yeah, so it's one of those fights. Probaholic, you find anything you like on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Brichek round 2 at plus 700 is just absolutely absurd when the guy's had his 5-0 in decisions with the way we see Pretoria be fading in fights and with the way he be coming out in the first round. Like, I have a track bet on Brichek to win in round 1 for 1 unit at plus 150 and sprinkled a half a unit on plus 700 just because, like, I think if Pretoria is going to be good in this fight, it's going to be early. And I knew coming in that he wasn't going to be coming in good for this weight class. Like, him cutting down to 185 with that bad cardio going into the late rounds and with the chin when he's been like getting knocked out, I don't think it's a good look for him. And Brichek is actually a pretty good boxer. And Brito is not a bad fighter at all. Like, people saying that Brito's a bad fighter and getting knocked out by Brito, I don't think it's a bad look at all. Like, Brito's a good fighter. He had good tape. So I feel like Brichek is just going to destroy Ihor in the pocket. I think he's going to knock him out. I think round 2 is very live because if this fight gets to round 2 and you have Brichek at a plus 700 ticket in round 2 with the power and the cardio that guy has, it's value all day. So give me Brichek round 2 plus 700.
All right, round 2 for Probaholic on the Brichek side plus 700. Guru, you have no passes left. So what is your bet on the fight?
You got me. No, to start, I was on Ihor Peteria. I had a ticket at him at plus 170. But after how he looked at weigh-ins, I did cash out that ticket. And I'm just going to go with what I think is the path of least resistance, which is Brichek by round 1 KO. I believe I see it at like plus 140. Dude has 17 professional wins, guys, and he's got 11 KOs, 10 round 1 finishes. So, I mean, I just think he finishes them quickly. Small cage helps him to his benefit, but if you could tell I was willing to take a shot on Ihor, you could tell I'm not exactly a fan of this guy moving forward. Or that confident.
You said what?
If it extends out, I mean, do you like Brichek? Like, I don't trust him at all. The dude's definitely on the juice.
I like him a lot to win in the second round if it gets past the first round. The guy has good cardio, man. He's won 5 decisions. Like, he has good cardio.
I almost played the round 1, round 2 KO, which I think was like minus 110, but I decided to stay with that plus money. So I definitely agree with round 2. But if Ihor's somehow still hanging out in round 2, round 3, late in round 2, you still feel good? Or
I would be shocked if he got to round 3 and if he wasn't getting up. Yeah, I'd be shocked.
I think somebody dies.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah. Does not go the distance. Can't see it. If this fight went the distance, it'd be, especially in the Apex, that'd be pretty wild. The prelims start at 4, which is in 45 minutes. Raw on the dog or pass. Yeah, I'm passing on this one as a whole. Peteria round 1 KO. Peteria might be the scariest dude in appearance in the UFC.
Paul Craig is.
Paul Craig. Sergey Spivak looks pretty terrifying in a different way, though.
Guskov.
Yeah, Guskov looks terrifying as well. Ihor is live at the start. Yeah, I'd say so. MGM has Breachek inside 60 seconds plus 1,200. If the fight is going to end in 60 seconds, it's probably this one. Ihor fraud checks this guy, I think. I'll see. Pateria is and always has been straight cheeks. Fade him like he is in the end credits. Let's see here. He looks like he might be off the juice for a few weeks. Jessica Andrade, what about her? I taped the Andrade Dern fight just today. She looked great in that fight. What about her? Oh gosh, no, come on, man. Jessica Andrade is not the scariest man in the UFC. You're wrong for that. Absolutely wrong for that. All right, we'll move on to this co-main event, though. We got Dan Ige going against Andre Fely. We'll kick it to you, Guru. What are you liking for this co-main event?
What an excellent fight that they did have to actually put together on short notice, right? He was supposed to fight Lerone Murphy, which would also have been an interesting fight. But I'm not on Andre Fely. I'm looking at Andre Fely. I'm on Dan Ige round 3 decision, and here's why. I feel like Dan Ige is the better striker with the better striking defense, and the short notice is not gonna help Andre Fely. And I certainly understand some of the durability question marks from the Andre Fely side. But like Prop, I think, was just saying, getting sparked by Brito in 40 seconds, while unfortunate and ill-advisable, is not like the most outrageous thing in the world. It is understandable. And other than that, he really hasn't been finished very often. He got head kicked by Yair Rodriguez. Like, that's understandable. Dude's, up there in the top 3. So all that stuff makes sense to me. I'm on Ige round 3 decision. Gives me a little bit of that taste of a finish just in case he gets that late. Dan Ige fighting his backyard in Las Vegas here. So that's where I'm going.
Do you know the line on that or no?
I believe I got plus 120. I'm not sure if there's anything else better.
All right. Dan Ige round 3 decision plus 120. Propaholic, what are you liking for this co-main event? I believe, you have one pass left, right?
Yeah. I'm not passing on this one though. I like the Dan Ige knockout at plus 320. Like, when I just watch Fely, he gets into these brawls, he gets into these wars. He kind of like lacks on striking defense when he gets into wars, when he gets too comfortable with his kicking game. I feel like Ige, like the way he fights, he gets himself into the pocket so well. Like it will be like in the first 2 minutes of the round, he'll be losing the round. And then if you just watch the Landwehr fight, when it's like the last 2.5 minutes in the round, he's just turning up. And he gets in the pocket and throws that nasty left hook, which knocked down Landwehr twice and knocked Damon Jackson out senseless and knocked out Gavin Tucker out senseless. And Fely has been knocked down by Wood. He's been hurt a lot at the UFC level as well. Algeo stunned him pretty bad as well. And Algeo doesn't have that much power compared to Dan Ige. So I see Ige closing the distance. I think he's going to stop the kicking game. I think he's going to cut off angles. And I think he's going to knock Andre Fely out senseless. And especially if it's on short notice as well for Fely. I know he's coming off the best performance of his life against Lucas Almeida, but he was coming off his worst performance of his career against Sabatini, only landing 1 strike. So I like Ige, and he's still only 32 years old, which is crazy to me too. So yeah, Dan Ige by KO at plus 320, I think is a pretty good bet here. But I'm on the money line at minus 160 for 2 units as well.
All right, Dan Ige KO plus 320. Uncle Weezy, what are you liking for the co-main event?
I got the Ige finish only here. I love the durability of Dan Ige. I think he's got most of the finishing equity in this spot. I've got a 3-unit track bet on Dan Ige's finish only prop at minus 200. I think it's still available at minus 225 on DraftKings. I just think that if there is a finish in this fight, it's going to be on the Ige side. He hits harder and he's more durable. So that's a nice, safe bet to make. I think that it either voids or it cashes. So that's what we're going with this week.
All right. Ige finish only minus 200 on FanDuel there. All right. Let's see what we got. Ige all day, says Ver. Andre Fely by decision. Yeah, if Andre Fely's winning, it's decision. Dan Ige KO. I think this will be a sparring match, maybe fan friendly. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a fan friendly fight there. Could be a split decision. Cole saying, what is up? Best of luck today. Best of luck to you as well, Cole. We got backstage tattoo saying Zach Pauga. The lock of the year is Zach Pauga. You heard it here first. Backstage tattoo locking in Zach Pauga. And Joel parlaying the over 2.5 at minus 190. 50K finish only makes a lot of sense to me as well. All right, guys. We have the main event. Jack Hermansson, Joe Pyfer. If you guys haven't already, smash the like button. I'm not sure how many likes we're at. I'll check in a second, but hopefully we can get over 100. We do appreciate you guys hanging out. Subscribe to the channel. We go live every week for Best Bet 2 hours prior to the prelims. Go subscribe to these guys. I did link down their channels below. And I say we get right into it. We're going to talk about this main event. Really good main event. Joe Pyfer, Jack Hermansson. We got Joe Pyfer minus 235, Jack Hermansson plus 200. Weezy, you have one pass left, so obviously you're passing here on the main event, but do you have any thoughts on the fight as a whole?
Really just looking forward to seeing how Pyfer takes this next step. I think he gets the job done. I think he probably gets the early KO, but where the price is, I just can't be a part of it. But yeah, I think he's a rightful favorite here. We'll see what Hermansson's got left in the tank here at his age against this type of opponent. But I think Joe gets it done early, but if he doesn't, it's going to get a little bit tricky as this fight goes on. I'm staying away from this one. I'm going to enjoy it as a fan.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. A Propaholic, I believe you have one pass left as well. So you're obviously passing on this fight. Any thoughts on the main event?
Yeah, I mean, I think Piper's gonna win. I think he's just physically way stronger than Hermansson, especially in the clinch. I feel like he's just gonna land the bigger, powerful strikes. I don't really have a good read on this fight, but I think Pyfer gets it done inside the distance by knockout, though. Probably maybe round 2, round 3. Maybe the KO 2, 3, 4 on FanDuel is a good way to play him. But yeah, I don't really have interest in betting this fight.
All right. And then Guru, you can't pass. So what do you got here on the main event?
Yeah, I mean, I think this fight really happens one of two ways, right? I think either Pyfer knocks him out early, or I think Jack Hermansson grabs a sub at some point. I mean, if you watch Joe Pyfer versus Jovan Potty, I mean, dude is completely shot after round 1 and gets his neck snatched and just tapped out immediately. It was a bad look. So, you know, this fight is being priced as if Jack Hermansson is completely shot. And the answer to that question is that I'm not completely sure. So where I end up here is, I mean, Jack Hermansson by sub is super, super juicy, but I have to decide which is more likely, right? So I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer round 1 or 2 KO grouping at plus 220.
That's a good line, man. Joe Pyfer KO 1-2 is plus 220
on FanDuel. Yes, sir.
I think it's a lot better than laying a minus 235 on the guy. I like that. I think it does happen just like that. Early knockout. If it does get late, it's going to get very interesting, though. Very liking Jack's chances. Yeah, gonna have to survive that first round and a half, 2 rounds, and then I like his chances as well. It's just he's got to survive there. Pyfer is gassing past round 3. Joker running for his life. Can't lay juice on Pyfer. Joe Via being Joe Pyfer. There you go. Pyfer round 2 knockout. I'm picking the same thing there. Zach Pauga is Jordan Wright's biological father. Bogdan has a 0% chance. Guskov round 1 KO.
Bogdan has a 0% chance. Right below it, Guskov round 1 KO. You know that you gotta love MMA.
You love it. You love it. You absolutely love it. Appreciate you. Not 45 451. Appreciate you. People haven't realized that Pyfer is just a bit different yet. I think a lot of people know he's a bit different. This guy's good. All right. Give me a parlay. I don't have any parlays on this card other than like a couple sprinkles, but the parlay for me would probably be the under 1.5 in the Ihor fight. And maybe Gregory Rodriguez. I like those 2 spots, but I would not go crazy with the parlays this week. All right. Jack sub later. Yeah, the Jack sub later rounds are like incredible prices there. You as well, Joseph. All right, guys, what we're going to do now is going to go over the bets for the card. And why the heck isn't that showing up? There it is. Okay, so it's showing up now. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the bets, make sure we got everything correct here, and then you guys are going to give your best bet for the fight. If you hit your best bet, it's going to double. So say, for example, Propaholic's best bet is Clark round 3. If he hits it, instead of getting 11 units, he's going to get 22 units. So we'll start with Uncle Weezy. Weezy, you're taking Marcos under 1.5, plus 255, passing on the Emil fight. Pauga money line, minus 130. Wells decision, plus 255. Clark round 3 decision, plus 100. Brazil, plus 3.5 point spread, plus 115. Passing on the Oki fight, you're taking the Prates. Giles over 1.5 rounds, minus 120. Vieira money line, minus 110. Johnson money line, minus 132. Rodriguez money line, minus 238. Passing on the Breach fight, you got the Dan Ige finish only, minus 200. You're passing on the Pyfer fight. Is all that correct? And if so, what is your best bet for the card?
That is all correct. And I'm going to go with, because it's a nice plus money number, that Wells by decision as the best bet. Max Griffin's very durable, and Wells is a great minute winner in the grappling exchanges. So I see that as being the most likely win condition here for Wells. So that's what I'm going to go with.
All right. Plus 255. So if Weezy hits this, it'll be a little over 5 units there. All right. Propaholic, you got Marcos round 3 decision minus 125. You're passing on the Emil fight. You're taking Guskov KO1 plus 305. The Wells Griffin fight doesn't go, a minus 130. Clark round 3 plus 1100. Passing on the Brasil and Oki fights. You're taking Prates round 2 plus 475. Vieira moneyline minus 110. Johnson under 1.5 rounds minus 101. Rodriguez fight doesn't go to decision minus 125. The Breachek KO, or the Breachek round 2 in general, plus 700. Dan Ige KO plus 320. You're passing on the Pyfer fight. Is all that correct? And if so, what is your best bet for the card?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that Guskov KO1 at plus 305. I think he's just going to finish Pauga early. I think people are just like looking at Pauga as if he's just going to wear on Guskov. Yeah, it's very possible, but I just don't think he's going to survive the power adversity early. He was overthrowing on every single strike last time, and Guskov throws wide. He has power and he has speed. He has all his wins inside the distance, and he comes out in his best in round 1 with Pauga's chin. So yeah, give me Guskov KO1 at plus 305.
Right. To win about 6.1 units. And then last but not least, Guru, you're taking a pass on the Marcos fight. You're passing on the Emil fight, the Pauga money line, and the over 2.5 minutes plus 110. The Wells Griffin fight goes to decision plus 110. You're taking the Clark money line and the over 1.5 combination minus 110 there. You're passing on the Loma and Oki fights. You're taking Practice round 1, round 2 plus 105. Petrosyan money line plus 102. Flowers round 1, round 2 plus 200. Rodriguez inside the distance plus 155. Breachek round 1 plus 140. And Dan Ige round 3 decision plus 120. And then Joe Pyfer round 1 or round 2 KO plus 220. Is all that correct? And if so, what is your best bet for this card?
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it. We'll keep with that. And best bet, man. I'm vacillating between the Joe Pyfer KO and the not the Flowers, and which one? Just had it in my head. The which I said earlier, the fucking
I think you said Rodriguez, right?
Thank you. I don't know why I'm blanking. Thank you. Rodriguez. So fuck. All right, I'm gonna go with Rodriguez.
Okay.
Let's go.
Rodriguez there for Guru. So Guru's best bet is Rodriguez inside the distance. Probaholic is Guskov KO1. Weezy's is Wells by decision. 133 likes. Appreciate you guys. That is awesome. We smashed that 100 like mark. That is always the goal. But I'm going to kick it around. We'll start with you, Uncle Weezy. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on for some content. Stat Diggers will be Monday because we are not going against the Super Bowl.
Yeah, everybody enjoy the Super Bowl. Me and Brady are going to be watching it as well because, we're not going to be doing Stat Diggers this Sunday. It'll be Monday on Pub Sports Radio after Clint is done with the Die Hard MMA podcast. You can always check me out on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. And on my Patreon at Patreon.com/Uncle Weezy. I got analytics and statistics and benchmarks for the MMA do-it-yourself better, and do a lot of content on my channel and on Pub Sports Radio that deal with the analytics and statistics behind betting on mixed martial arts. So let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 86. Good luck on all your bets. And I'm looking forward to UFC 298 next week, Volkanovski versus Topuria. You're muted, Brady.
I mean, it was bound to happen at some point, and it happened at the end of the show. Propaholic, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at MMA_Propaholic on Twitter, and I have my Discord linked as well, and my YouTube linked in my Twitter profile as well. Hopefully I can have a bounce back week this week. I'm excited for these fights. I'm definitely excited to have some drinks and watch some fights. Looking forward to next week's card as well. I'm already 8 fights into next week, and definitely have my eyes open for some over-unders that will be opening tomorrow on Bet Online. So yeah, I'll be ready for that card. And I can't wait for these fights tonight. Good luck to everyone. Brady, thank you for having me on, and let's make some money tonight, guys.
Let's go. Let's do it. Last but not least, Guru, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Chronic Combat Conversations on YouTube. Go subscribe to that channel. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have the best guests, the best bets, and they're always free. So make sure you come check us out. We're a lot of fun. We've had Weezy on. We've had Brady, we've had you on. We got to get you on, Prop. That's crazy. We haven't had
Oh,
you
yeah.
on yet, so we'll have to link up. Yeah, we love to have fun over there. And guys, seriously, stay safe out there. This card is, oh my goodness, it is sketchy. Brady, seriously though, it's a true honor and a privilege to be on here. I really appreciate the time and look forward to being back.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Thank all of you guys for coming on. And thank everybody in the chat as well. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week for 298. Going to have a stacked panel for that as well. So best of luck, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later.